Hello, everyone. Welcome live to 3Wide TV and tonight's broadcast of the Total Nonstop Racing League here from the famed Darlington Raceway in Darlington, South Carolina. It's going to be an action-packed race for everyone here in the chat here tonight. Hopefully, you're all having a fantastic Monday. Most of these drivers out here on the racetrack are definitely doing so as well. The practice session here just now wrapping up. It has been an absolute fantastic practice session with Tristan Mayer in that number 17 machine, currently atop the board over Jason Gracias, Christopher Darling in third, Mike Tellier, Philip Scott rounding out your top five, Garrett Powell, Billy Thornton, last week's race winner from Eldora, right down there in the seventh position as this practice session going to come to a close. But I'm going to turn to the chat. Hopefully everyone in the chat is having a good evening, and if you're in the chat, let us know, because tonight this is going to be an absolute stellar race around this famed racetrack, Darlington Raceway, the first ever superspeedway in all of NASCAR, and I'm very much looking forward to this one. Let's see who we can find out there on the racetrack right now. Let's see if we can find this man right here, the number 7 of Garrett Gleason. He is one of the drivers here tonight who is sporting a throwback paint scheme. That's right, folks. That number 7 Menard scheme, fantastic looking here tonight. And I'm sure we'll see plenty of throwback cars all in action here tonight. Not 100% sure where the iRacing sound is here tonight. It sounds a bit quiet. We'll see if maybe we can work on that at some point. There it is, going off into the corner. Let me turn it up just a smidgen here. Yeah, there we go. Just a little bit extra here as Garrett Gleason here. Looks like he's having a little bit of problems up off the corner. Let's see if we can check in on Christopher Darling, one of the fastest drivers in the practice session from just a little bit ago. He's sporting the Max Graphics paint scheme. And folks, if you tuned in last Friday night here on 3Wide TV, we had the National Sim Racing Association Max Graphics 240. Great to have them on board this year here in 3Wide TV. And that number 70 of Darling working his way through turn number 1 and 2 right now. He's going to try and get out of turn number 2, unable to do so, gets a little bit loose. Not the first time we see that. We saw that out of this man right here, Garrett Gleason, just a bit ago. Jason Freeman, though, in the number 20 machine, a Mason-Dixon Cornhole Chevrolet, he has gone top of the charts. And he's just going to pull it off the racetrack. The number 8 machine, Philip Scott, sliding into second. Look at that Dale Earnhardt Jr. throwback here, sporting those red colors here tonight. He's working his way through turn number 3 and 4. Plenty of different lines around this racetrack. We'll see plenty of that in action here tonight as he brings the number 8 machine down to a hole. Let's see if we can go on board with Jason Gracias in the number, what is that? The number 4 machine. Here we go on board, working his way through turn number 3 and 4. We're going to see a lot of these drivers up near the wall trying to get the famed Darlington Shrine. We'll see if Jason goes for another lap here. And looks like indeed he will. And as I say that, he's going to slam on the brakes and bring it to a halt here. Only a 5-minute practice session. Here's Tristan Mayer in the number 17 machine, fastest in practice just a bit ago. Got the Pennzoil paint scheme, the Steve Park Pennzoil paint scheme on that machine. Here he is down the backstretch. Looks like it's going to be one and done for him. He jumped to 3rd position on the board. What about that leaderboard right now? Jason Gracias in that number 4 machine atop the board, 28.442. I'll tell you what, folks, that is a absolute spectacular lap around this racetrack. Not quite a mile and a half in length. You can see its egg shape, very unique to this racetrack. But the racetrack here going to fall quiet here. And we're going to get set to go green flag racing here in just a little bit on 3Wide TV for total nonstop racing action here from the Darlington Raceway. I haven't seen anyone in the chat here just yet. If you're in the chat, make sure you make yourself heard. Would love to hear from you and hear a little bit about how you're doing tonight and who you're rooting on around this racetrack, because it will be an absolute spectacular show. There you can see the live timing and scoring on the left-hand side of your screen. And there it goes, just like that. There we go. I had a little bit of a hiccup there with the blue line that boxes out the top 15 position. We've had 15 qualifiers, quite a field here tonight. Great to see that You know, last year or last season, I should say, Total Nonstop Racing was resurrected. It's kind of a Phoenix league. It was a NASCAR Racing 2003 season league many, many years ago. Before that, an EA Sports League. Now we're in the big time. We're in the iRacing here, and got plenty of action here from all of these guys. We saw a great race at Eldora 1 week ago here on 3Y TV. Make sure you go back and watch that replay if you haven't already seen it. There was quite a bit of action, and Billy Thornton in the number 5 machine really walked away with that one. Very, very quick on the dirt, but will we see that speed translate over to asphalt? So far, not so. That number 5 machine currently sitting down in the 9th position. Looks like Derek Cook in the number 21 machine. Is he trying to work his way back out to the racetrack? No, he is not. He's going to pull off. So that's going to do it here for the qualifying session. And it was indeed Jason Gracias who got the pole. Great job for the number 4 machine here tonight, because I'll tell you what, Gracias is one of those drivers who I myself had to race against back in the NASCAR Racing 2003 days, and great to see him out there on the racetrack here in iRacing. Well, we'll see if we can dial up the starting lineup for you guys here tonight. Not 100% sure what is up with the ticker on the left-hand side of the screen. Seems like it might just be a little bit off tonight for some reason, but there is the field. Looks like Jason Gracias has got himself out there. Let's see if the grid works here tonight, and indeed it does. Starting on the pole, the number 4 machine of Jason Gracias. Great qualifying run for him. You can see that a 28.442 to Philip Scott's 28.447. They make up your front row. Row number 2, we have the number 17 of Tristan Mayer, and to his outside, the number 20 of Jason Freeman. Row number 3 on the inside, Mike Tellier, the number 97 machine. Christopher Darling to his outside in the 6th position. Starting in the 7th position, Garrett Powell in the number 87, and Tony Lecorelli in the 41, starting from the 8th position. Row number 5, Billy Thornton, last week's race winner in that number 5 machine. Thornton Graphix on the hood, and to his outside, sporting a throwback paint scheme, the number 84, Matt Monticelli. Behind them, on row number 6, we got Fernando Matos on the inside. The 55 is Steven Doziak Jr. Row number 7, Kyle Geveshausen and Vincent Valvano. Row number 8, Derek Cook, Garrett Gleason. Ron Chicky, Dave Harvey in row number 9. Nate Catilla and Austin Grover round out your 20-car field here tonight. But we're about to get set to go back to green flag racing, or get to set to go green flag racing for the first time here tonight. And it will be Jason Gracias picking up, man, he's got a lot of Total Nonstop Racing poles to his name, but none in the iRacing service until now. Green flag is in the air here at Darlington Raceway, and look at Mike Tellier. He's already off the pace back there in that number 97 machine. Not 100% sure if that was planned or not, but he's going to drop well back in the field. Meanwhile, up at the front, Jason Gracias has got himself out to an early lead here over the number 17 of Mayer. Mayer now up into 2nd. Philip Scott in 3rd in the 8 machine. Jason Freeman in 4th. Looks like Freeman, that's exactly where he qualified. The front driver right there of Gracias able to hold on to that front for 1 lap, and he will lead the opening lap here tonight at Darlington. It is a 80-lap race. We will see a competition caution, kind of a stage break at some point here in tonight's race. I believe it is lap number 20 when we expect to see the yellow flag come out, but this is a good battle right here. There's the number 87, Garrett Powell, trying to get underneath Chris Darling. Darling running the Max Graphics scheme here tonight, but look up at the front. Looks like things closing in just a little bit. Jason Gracias holding on to the race lead, looking out back of that number 4 machine. You see that bright yellow Pennzoil number 17. Great looking paint schemes here tonight. Great to see a lot of throwback schemes. I'll tell you what, Gracias' number 4 machine might not look like a throwback to many people, but that is a throwback to the paint scheme that he used to run back in the day. Almost in fact, really a throwback to the number 42 of Juan Pablo Montoya that Montoya used to run. And right behind him, number 17 of Mayer, of course, the Steve Park machine. And behind him, the Dale Earnhardt Jr., number 8. So a couple DEI cars up there inside the top 3. And then you find Jason Freeman and the 70 of Chris Darling. Behind them, Garrett Powell, Tony Lucarelli back there in the Miller Genuine Draft machine. akin to what we saw Rusty Wallace used to run back in the day. And then Billy Thornton, last week's race winner. That is quite a big gap back to Matt Monticelli in that number 84, trying to race the truck. That's a Dale Jarrett sponsored throwback. See, and what about this, folks? 3 Wide Racing TV on the hood. Fernando Matos in that number 71 machine. Great to see a little bit of representing us on the racetrack as Monticelli has a moment there coming out of turn number 2. He's able to gather it back up. And as the side of that number 84 says, the pigs love racing the truck. And of course, that was a big thing back in the day. Mike Tellier seems to be trying to get himself back up towards the front, trying to get to the inside here. Fernando Matos. Matos there on the high side, just keeping it outside of the outside wall. Good job there by Matos just to get that machine turned down to the bottom of the racetrack. Meanwhile, Billy Thornton right behind the number 41 of Lecorelli. You can see those 2 cars as we got one car in the wall. That's number 20 machine up there towards the front. I'll see if we can go back and catch this one on the 3-wide TV replay and see exactly what happened here. This is coming down the back stretch, going off into turn number 3, looking at Jason Freeman. Yep, just caught the outside wall just a little bit. He'd actually got around Mayer in the number 17, who had also been passed by the number 8 machine. So changings up at the front. There is the number 20 of Jason Freeman picking up his Darlington stripe here pretty early on, but back up towards the front. Gracias continues to lead as we've now eclipsed the 7-lap mark. We're working lap number 8 right now. Green flag so far, and you can see on the left-hand side of your screen one driver trying to work his way back up towards the front. This man right here is, whoa, what happened up there? That's Christopher Darling going well down below the white line, running right below the number 41 of Lecorelli. Darling started in 6th. That's where he's running. Lecorelli +1. Billy Thornton, he's +1. The biggest loser so far in the early going, Mike Tellier in the number 97. He pulled off the racetrack, and as I say that, possible problems for Matt Monticelli. That number 84 machine damaged quite heavily. And we're going to see if we can go back and see exactly what happened to Monticelli here, because that is a lot of damage. Here we go, coming out of turn number 2, caught up to Thornton. Did he clip the outside wall? Yes, he did. Back down across the racetrack, slam, bam, into the inside wall. And Matt Monticelli, he is going to have to come down pit road. The good news is he will be able to use a fast repair on that race car. But while we're watching that up at the front, things have changed, because what has happened to the number 4 machine of Jason Gracias? He was the race leader last time he looked. Now he finds himself back in 4th. Philip Scott in the Dale Earnhardt Jr. inspired number 8 machine is now your race leader, with Garrett Powell trying to close in. That number 87 Toyota Supra, very, very quick here in the early going. But boy, oh boy, we've seen some very interesting happenings here. We're going to see if we can go back and see exactly what happened to the number 4 machine that cost him the race lead. And here we go, coming down the backstretch. This was a couple laps ago. Just gets up the racetrack, gets into the wall. We saw it out of the number 20 machine of Freeman, and now the same thing's happened to Jason Gracias. He not only lost the race lead, but now he is back to the 4th position. Here he is right in front of the 20 of Freeman. Chris Darling in the number 70, just a little bit further back. But some good racing here in the early going. And one driver I really want to keep an eye on right now is this man right here. That's Garrett Powell. And the reason I wanted to keep an eye on him was because he was closing in on the number 17 machine, and just like that, he is going to get himself up into the top 2. Was that the number 8 machine of Scott in the outside wall? I think it is. That's going to give the 87 a run off into turn number 1, and just like that, the number 8 machine's in the wall again. My, oh my. It's been a terrible lap for Philip Scott. He's going to be able to get out of the wall, but from 1st to 3rd in a single lap, and now it won't be all too long before the number 4 machine of Gracias is going to be all over his back bumper. So action-packed here in the early going. I'm just trying to see what's going on out there on the racetrack and see who's coming and going. One driver, the biggest gainer of the race so far, is Ron Chicky, but I'm also getting word that we have a car on pit road, and who is it? It is Kyle Geveshausen, the South Park machine, having a little bit of connection issues here, possibly a little bit of damage on that race car. Let's go back and see if we can catch and see what happened to him here on the 3-wide TV replay. Unfortunately, possibly some connection issues on that number 44 machine. Let's see if we can dial up this 3-wide TV replay. Well, a little bit of connection issues. Sliding back down across the track. Bam! Very similar thing to what happened to Matt Monticelli a couple of laps ago. You can see those connection issues plaguing the number 44 machine. Great to see Geveshausen back in the field. Whoa, a little bit of a wiggle back there. That was the number 20 of Freeman, who now comes under fire from the number 70 Max Graphics machine of Chris Darling. But the Mason-Dixon cornhole number 20 machine in the outside wall, and that will give up that position to the number 70. But just like this man right here up at the front, Garrett Powell, pulling away ever so slightly from the number 17 of Tristan Mayer. And there is the number 8 of Philip Scott. He's rebounded just a little bit, trying to get himself back at the front, late on the brakes in that number 8 machine. He's going to dive to the inside, and just like that, we have a battle for the second position, and just like that, the number 8 machine will take it. Now here comes Jason Gracias in the number 4 machine, your pole sitter here in the early going. Started on pole, lost the lead a little bit ago, and he is going to get that position from Mayer. So positions really changing hands quite drastically here in the early going. Boy, oh boy, trying to catch my breath after this one. The first 17 laps here around Darlington have been stellar, and now here comes Chris Darling in the number 70 machine. He's going to get underneath Mayer, so possibly we're starting to see tires possibly get burned off here around this racetrack. And as you can see up at the top of your screen, I'll tell you what, I'm going to bring up the previous lap times here. Look at those lap times, 30.0 for your race leader. The best lap of this race for Garrett Powell was a 28.7, so we've dropped off about a second and a half or so, depending on the driver here in this early stage of the race. A lot of tire wear early on, but I expect to see the stage caution here very, very shortly around the Darlington Raceway. Let us know how it's going tonight, folks, if you're in the chat. We got, I think, 10 viewers going on right now. Nothing in the chat. We want to hear you. We want to give you a shout out. We want to hear who you're rooting on here around this racetrack. There's the number 70 of Chris Darling. We've been focusing on him. I thought he was going to mount a charge at Jason Gracias, who throws up some sparks out the right side of that number 4 machine. We ride on board with him here, trying to close in on the number 8 of Scott. Now, one thing that gets important at this point of the run, folks, is average lap time, because we're at that point where these tires are starting to fall off. Garrett Powell over the last 5 laps has been running very good lap times. His average is a 30.063. Philip Scott, on the other hand, running in second, he is just running a little bit slower, and you can see down there at the bottom of the screen, Philip Scott just a tenth slower that last lap, as we have finally gotten to the first stage caution of the night. In fact, it'll be the only stage caution of the night. That man right there, Garrett Powell, will win the stage points. As I said, lap number 20 was going to be when the caution flag flew for the first time, and hopefully the only time here tonight at the Darlington Raceway. Philip Scott running in second, Jason Gracias in third, Christopher Darling back in fourth, Tristan Mayer in fifth, Jason Freeman sixth, Mike Tellier back behind him. And what about Ron Chicky, the number 51 machine, running the Exxon Days of Thunder throwback? He started all the way down in the 17th position, folks, and he has got himself 9 positions gained in the early portion of the race. He'll be able to catch back up to the race leaders. As boy, oh boy, was that something that happened to the number 44 machine of Kyle Geveshausen? There was definitely damage on that number 44 machine coming out of the corner. You can see connection issues on that number 44 machine. Can't quite see. Yeah, definite connection issues, and oh my goodness, I think that's just a little bit of an iRacing glitch due to his issues that he's having with his connection issues. But nonetheless, that looked like an explosion there for Kyle Geveshausen. He's a couple laps down, unfortunately, at this stage. But we do have all of your leaders coming down pit road, led by the number 87 machine. He's going to get into his pit box here. Now let's see, make sure we're live here. We are indeed. Maybe a couple drivers electing to stay out in live timing and scoring. I'm keeping an eye on it because Tony Lecorelli, Billy Thornton, and Vincent Valvano and Garrett Gleason all electing to stay out here. But it looks like that number 87 machine will be the first one going, and he will win the race off pit road very, very single-handedly. But now the question will be, will Tony Lecorelli in the number 41 machine, your current race leader who stayed out, will we see him back on pit road this time? I think the answer will be yes. Like I mentioned, the tire fall off here at Darlington is massive. They were running about 2.4 seconds slower at the end of that run. So just 20 laps on the tires, 2.4 seconds. That's almost a tenth a lap, and doesn't look like the 41 machine is going to come down pit road this time. That's a bit of a surprise for me. The 5 of Thornton not coming down. Meanwhile, we got Garrett Gleason and Vincent Valvano. Haven't mentioned Valvano here in the number 38 Valvoline machine here so far. Behind him, Garrett Gleason in that Menards throwback. Of course, a big Robbie Gordon fan is Garrett Gleason. Now let's see if we can possibly bring up one of these drivers here in the early going and see if we can possibly talk to your current race leader, Tony Lecorelli. Tony Lecorelli, Peter Shorten's 3-Wide TV booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Well, you're still out there on the racetrack. You haven't come down for tires just yet, by my math. Are you planning to stay out here, or are we going to see you down pit road here shortly?
I'm going to try and plan to stay out. I want to save one set of tires. Hope late caution comes out.
Well, definitely kind of an interesting call to stay out here. You know, we saw about 2.4 seconds of tire fall off there over that run. Do you have that in the back of your mind, and do you have a plan to kind of come down pit road at some point?
I'm really just praying for a caution here.
All right. Well, we'll let you get back to it, Tony. Good luck here when we go back to...
Yeah, thank you.
All right, well, that is your current race leader, the number 41 machine. Now we'll see if the pace car lights turn off. They do indeed, so we'll let these drivers get back to it here shortly. I was going to see if I could pull in another driver, but we'll wait and see. And you know what? Let's pull in Garrett Gleason for kicks and giggles. Garrett Gleason, Peter Shorten, 3-Wide TV booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir. Peter, how's it going in the booth?
Yeah, it's going pretty good. I see you're looks like you're trying to get caught back up to the back of the pack here. Any plans here for this restart to try and get that number 7 Menards Chevrolet back up to the front?
Peter, you've raced with me a long time, and I think I'm just going to ride, try to save some tires, and maybe have something for them at the end, because otherwise... Oh, they're all slowing down, Peter. You got me distracted. Well, otherwise, I'm going to have a chance to beat these guys on speed, so I'm just going to try to beat them on strategy, at least some of them. Maybe I could get a top 10 when all is said and done.
All right, well, best of luck there, G, and we'll let you get back to it. All right, folks, that was Garrett Gleason, league owner and organizer. He said I could pull him into the booth at some point, but I'll tell you what, the pace car has headed down pit road, and we'll wait for that green flag to fly here at Darlington, and there it is, the 41 of Lecorelli. Now, the big question is going to be, he wants a yellow flag, but he hopes he doesn't become the yellow flag because he's on many, many lap old tires. In fact, let's see if we can bring that up at the top of your screen. He's on 26 lap old tires. Garrett Powell only on 3 in the 5 machine is going around. That's Billy Thornton, last week's race winner from Eldora, in the wall on the backstretch. And he's just trying to slow it down and bang into the inside wall. And no caution. How about that? He's going to get that machine pointed back around. And now we got another problem in the back. That's the number 70 and the number 17 going around. And my, oh my, this is a big one here at Darlington. We're going to have to go back and get this one all wound up for you. Here we go, coming out of turn number 2. Let's see if we can see this from high atop the blimp cam. Watch the number 70 of Chris Darling. I think that's where the contact initiated. Darling might have scraped the wall, and then the number 17 got into it. He went down into the inside wall. Look at Mike Tellier there just scooting through in the number 97. Unfortunately, nowhere for the number 20 of Jason Freeman to go. What about Steven Doziak in the number 55 machine? Oh, he gets caught up in that one as well. right front suspension completely broken on the number 55, but here comes the number 77 of Harvey. He gets into it as well. And look at Doziak in the number 55 almost going up on his lid. That was a pretty big accident. Let's see if we can go back and see this one possibly kind of all happen, because let's see if we can ride on board right here with Dave Harvey. Look out front. Now the 70, I think he throws some sparks. He does. Then he gets down into number 17, and it's on from there. Harvey trying to slow down, go through the smoke. He tries to go down to the bottom of the racetrack, and bam, right into the back of the number 55 of Doziak. Let's see if we can go on board the number 55 machine, because I really want to see the gyro cam, because this is going to be an interesting one, folks. Here we go on board with the 55 of Doziak here, coming out of the corner, coming down the front stretch. There goes the contact, and boom. But watch when the number 77 hits him right there. Wow. Gives the gyro cam a workout here, and he's going to come to a halt up against the outside retaining wall. So Steven Doziak here in that number 55 machine, he's going to have to come down pit road and use a fast repair. Now the good news is here in on 3-Wide TV, the Total Nonstop Racing League, they do get a fast repair, but they only get one. So now the drivers who haven't or have used them, well, they're out. They don't get any more here tonight, as the pace car now out for the second time here tonight. And drivers like Billy Thornton, Jason Freeman, a couple of them elected to come down pit road. One of those other drivers who came down pit road was the number 41 of Tony Lecorelli. You see him flashing by right there. So not all too surprised at Lecorelli in that number 41 machine. We saw him sliding back quite a bit there early on, as you get some of the unique views around the Darlington Raceway. There we go. There's the field working their way through turn number 1 right now. And it won't be all too long before they go through turn number 1 and 2. Of course, one of the things that these drivers always talk about when they come here to Darlington Raceway is the fact that you got a Darlington stripe here. And I think a lot of the field has their Darlington stripe here tonight. Let's see who has got it. Looks like the number 8 machine has. Definitely Austin Grover has. We've seen a couple of these guys towards the back of the pack get their Darlington stripe. Here's Dave Harvey in the number 77. He's trying to work his way towards the front of the field. Looks like he's going to pull off the bottom of the racetrack. Maybe he has to let the number 17 machine by. But now the field's really been shaken up here by that accident. It's going to be interesting to see. I mean, some of the faster cars that we've seen here tonight, including the number 17 machine, who we see right there, involved in that one. Christopher Darling in the number 70 machine, he was also involved. He got a heavy piece of damage in that Chevy Impala right there. In fact, they're kind of running Monte Carlo rear lights, but Impala on the front end. Interesting to see that. Fernando Matos there in the 3-Wide TV Chevrolet. Great looking paint scheme. Of course, giving a shout out to us on 3-Wide TV. Great job there, Fernando. Staying in the show here tonight. Doesn't look like there's a scratch on that race car so far. The number 71, I should say. The number 17, however, that's going to be interesting to see how he gets himself up towards the front as the pace car lights have turned off. Garrett Powell will lead us back to green here shortly. Still nobody in the chat here tonight, folks. Come on, make yourself heard. I'm interested to see who you're rooting on here in the Total Nonstop Racing League. Of course, Total Nonstop Racing League, well, I've been a member of this league since I was in my teens, quite a long time ago, and just now coming to the iRacing service. This is the second season of these National Series cars, the ARCA cars, whatever you want to call them. And it's the first time that these cars have gone to Darlington in a very, very long time here in the Total Nonstop Racing League. But the green flag here going to be back in the air as the number 87 of Garrett Powell leads us back to the green flag right over the number 4 of Jason Gracias, the number 8 of Philip Scott running in third. How about Austin Grover in the number 83 PlayStation Chevrolet? He is running up there in the 4th position right now in front of Mike Tellier. Tellier dropped to the back of the field at the start of the race, but he's been clawing his way a little bit further through the field. We're right on board with the number 97 machine right now, trying to catch up to the rear end of Grover. Austin Chicky, so far your biggest mover of the race. He started back at 17th, now running in the 6th position, so he continues his charge up towards the front. But we're going to have to keep an eye a little bit further back in the pack. Oh, Vincent Valvano in the outside wall. Oh, dig, that's a big wreck. That's Chris Darling in the number 70 machine. Heavy, heavy damage, and that left front suspension is absolutely toast. We're going to go back and see that one on an instant replay because it all happened when Valvano caught the wall. The 20 tried to avoid it. He tried to come down, and that is just a violent, violent impact on the number 70 machine. We'll see if we can get possibly one more look on that race machine. Here we go. It happened all in front of him. And wow, Darling's just trying to do all he can to avoid the 20 machine, but there was a little bit of contact there, and watch this impact. It's in slow motion, but I'll tell you what, that is a heavy, heavy hit for that machine, and looks like he is going to take it to pit road. I don't believe he has any fast repairs left, so that might be day done for Chris Darling. Tough shame, no caution for that. We remain green. Garrett Powell in the 87, continuing to lead over the number 4 of Jason Gracias. Philip Scott back in 3rd. Mike Tellier in 4th. Ron Chicky in 5th. Austin Grover has lost a couple of positions in that number 83 machine. He's now slid back into 6th. There he is on the center of your screen. Tony Lecorelli in the 41. He's charging his way through the field. Remember, he came down pit road under this last caution to get 4 fresh tires. So far, hasn't quite been able to use those 4 fresh tires to his advantage, but this is a side-by-side battle for the 7th position. Billy Thornton, last week's race winner at Eldora, won the first round of the season. He is trying to get himself up into the top 7. Unable to do so just yet. Then there's a gap back to Tristan Mayer in that number 17 machine, who's right in front of Jason Freeman, who, big shout out to him as we got an accident. It's Austin Grover in the number 83 machine who's gone around. We'll go see if we can catch a replay and see what happened here. Here we go. This is coming out of, or into turn number 1, I should say, and then coming out of turn number 2. Oh, the 51 of Chicky and the 83. Heavy, heavy contact, and then the 17 got a piece of it as well. But wow, that all happened with the 51 of Chicky, who was your biggest mover of the race. Let's see if we can see another replay here. Roll the tape. Going off into turn number 1. Oh, he just got loose into turn number 1. Tried to save it. Almost had it safe. Still wiggling. And then the front end just bit. Went up into the outside wall. And watch Tristan Mayer right there in the 77 machine just trying to squeak through. And he got a piece of it. Let's see if we can catch this one from Austin Grover and see exactly what happened from the front end of the number 83 machine. Here we go, on board with the number 83. Look at Chicky trying to save it. Just that back end wiggling, and oh, there's nothing the 83 could do. I think he thought he was through it. You can see that right front suspension completely toast. So tough break for the number 83 machine. He was up there towards the front of the pack, and he's going to have to nurse it back to pit row. Now the big question is going to be which one of these drivers still have their fast repair left. Looks like the 83 of Grover had a fast repair left, so looks like that right front suspension is back to working order, so that's good news for him. Trying to see who we have on pit road right now. Looks like Chicky is going to come off pit road back onto the racetrack. He's going to use his fast repair. A couple of these drivers now out of fast repairs in the field. That could play dividends for some of these drivers who haven't used the fast repairs later on in the race. But if you're just now joining us here on 3 Wide TV, a little bit of fun racing here tonight. Total Nonstop Racing League. Sporting race number 2. And we're now working, I believe, our third caution of the race. Let's see if we can bring up the race details down there in the bottom left-hand corner. It is the third caution, as I mentioned. And we've had 4 lead changes here tonight. Garrett Powell, the number 87 machine right there, has definitely been the dominant force so far in tonight's race. And let's see if we can possibly find out if we can possibly catch a word with that number 87 machine. Trying to see if he's on the channel here, and indeed he is. Garrett Powell, Peter Short, 3YTV booth. You got a copy? I'll tell you what, Garrett, you have been the dominant car so far in the first half of this race as we close in on the halfway mark. You've led a good portion of laps here, but tell us how that number 87 machine is driving.
Well, so far so good. I'm at the beginning there, you know, kind of dropped back, let the guys in front of us race, and you know, watched them hit the walls and got around everybody and just started kind of taking off there until we got to the stage there. So now we're just kind of waiting and seeing what happens. I don't know if these guys are going to hit the walls again. It seems like most of the guys behind me already hit the wall once, so I'm kind of just sitting here hoping maybe they'll hit it again and I'll just be able to drive away. So, but it's driving pretty good so far.
I'll tell you what, definitely been very, very fast out there. The pace car lights have turned off, so we'll let you get back to it. But best of luck there in the last half of the race, Garrett.
Hey, thanks a lot.
All right, that is your current race leader, Garrett Powell, in that number 87 machine. Got the big red number 4 of Jason Gracias to his outside. The number 4 was your pole sitter earlier on in this race. Third position currently Philip Scott. Mike Tellier in 4th. He dropped from the 5th position all the way back to the back of the field in the early going. Tony Lecorelli, he qualified 8th. He's now up into the top 5. Billy Thornton, your race winner from last week at Eldora, he's running on the outside of row number 3 for this restart. And then you got Fernando Matos, Steven Doziak behind them, as well as this car right here. Haven't really focused on the number 21 machine of Derek Cook here tonight, but there he is, running on the inside of row number 5 right now. Chicky to his outside, but the pace car is going to dive down pit road once again. We're about to go back to Green Flag Racing, just waiting for the number 87 machine to hit the loud pedal, and there he goes, pretty early to hit that loud pedal. He's going to jump up right in front of the number 4 of Gracias, but we're back to Green Flag Racing here at Darlington as he scoots away to a couple of car advantage. And the number 97 of Mike Tellier, he's trying to get himself up into the top 3, and there he goes. Great restart for Mike Tellier to get around the number 8 machine of Philip Scott. And look at this racing a little bit further back around Ron Chicky. He's stuck behind the number 55 of Doziak, and he's got to be a little bit patient here because we've seen that he's very, very quick. He's back here with a couple of the other cars that have struggled here in the early go, and look at the 41 of Lecorelli almost catching the outside wall coming out of turn number 4, and just like that, Chicky's going to get to the inside as the 41 machine does get into the outside wall, and oh, he's going to get turned. He gets turned in turn number 1 and 2, and my, oh my, big contact back behind him. Blam, bam, into the wall. We're under caution once again. Now we're going to have to see exactly what happened here on the 3Y TV replay. So the 41 gets into the outside wall. Someone gets into the back of him. Oh, it's the 17 of Tristan Mayer, who's already used a fast repair. And my, oh my, Austin Grover there in the PlayStation number 83 machine gets into the number 17. Heavy, heavy impact. Well, we'll see if we can go back and see this one possibly from another angle here. And oh man, that number 17 just got into the back from heavy contact with the outside wall, and then watch this contact with the number 83 machine. That was just heavy, heavy contact. And a couple of these cars are out of fast repairs, folks, so that could be the end of the night for the 83, the 17. I think the number 41 of Lecorelli might still have a fast repair. Hopefully he still does. He's on pit road right now. Looks like the number 7 of Garrett Gleason might have also picked up a little bit of damage. But we're going to find out here whether or not the 41 of Lecorelli still has a fast repair or not as he comes into his pit box. And he did still have a fast repair. So that's good news for the number 41 of Lecorelli. The bad news, however, is he's going to fall a lap down to Garrett Powell in that number 87 machine. Guys, we're going to do a little bit of a new feature here on 3Wide TV when we go back to green here in just a little bit, but this gives us another opportunity to dial up one of our drivers here, and let's see if we can dial up the second place number 4 machine of Jason Gracias. Jason Gracias, Peter Short here in the 3Wide TV booth. You got a copy?
I do. How are you doing tonight?
Doing pretty good. Hey, man, we saw you very, very quick at Eldora on the dirt last week, but here you are backing it up with a solid run here so far tonight at Darlington. Started on the pole, running in second right now. You only got one car out in front of you. The number 87's been really fast. How are you going to get around him?
Right now, I just this is my first real race on asphalt on this tire model. So right now, I'm just taking it easy, saving my tires, trying to see what the tire wear is. I probably won't try to make a move until I get my next set of tires on and find out where his weak spot is. So right now I'm just riding around and studying the car in front of me in hopes that I can make a plan for the last set of tires.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, it's going to be an interesting end to this race. Darlington is very, very harsh on tire wear. And you out there in that number 4 machine, you're already talking about tires. So how do you save tires at this racetrack?
Basically, you want to be smooth in your inputs. You know, you want to make sure you listen for your tire squeal. You want to go in smooth and drive out smooth. Don't give it too much gas. These tires will wear out really, really quick here. Too much gas off the turn 4 or 2, you'll see the car get slide, and you'll try to overcorrect it, and sometimes you'll overcorrect into the wall. So you just want to be nice and smooth on your inputs. You know, don't overdrive the car. Just be gentle to it.
Well, definitely very solid, very, very fast so far, Jason. You know, when do you expect to come down pit road for the final time? If this race goes green to the end, will we see you back on pit road?
Oh, I think you have to. I don't think you can stretch these tires out for 40 laps. I mean, between that and the fuel, you're going to be very close. So I'm trying to split it somewhere between maybe lap 55 to 65. So we'll see.
All right. Well, it'll be interesting to see whether or not that number 4 machine comes down pit road. But best of luck here in the closing stages here tonight. It'll be 33 laps to go when we go back to green. Best of luck there, Jason.
Thank you. Thanks to all the fans watching. Make sure you support Thornton Graphix and 3Y TV. And Big Red.
Absolutely. Make sure you pick up yourself a little bit of Big Red gum. But thanks for Jason for stopping in here. And of course, big shout out to Thornton Graphix, sponsor on the number 5 machine, and also a sponsor up in the top left-hand corner of your screen here on 3Wide TV. Thornton Graphix sponsoring the Total Nonstop Racing League this year. And make sure you go check them out because definitely a pretty cool sponsor, as well as the DRP indoor racing track up there in Old Forge, Pennsylvania. If you're into RC indoor racing, well, definitely give them a shout. Go check them out. Their season is about to begin. And speaking of about to begin, we're about to go back to Green Flag Racing, and the number 87 machine already on the loud pedal here at Darlington as the field races on by off into turn number 1. What a good look of seeing these cars go into turn number 1 and 2. Look how close they get up to the wall. And this is the big one, folks. How close they get to the wall coming out of turn number 2. Definitely, it's how you get a lot of speed here at this racetrack, because you want to be right up next to the wall. You want to get up off the corner as smooth as possible. We heard Jason Gracias talk about how smooth you have to be here. That's Mike Tellier in the number 97 machine going way down there below the racetrack, below the white line and through the front stretch, excuse me, as we now work our way coming out of turn number 2 onto the back stretch. These cars just whip around this racetrack, folks. 170 miles an hour or so going off into turn number 3. And that's why this racetrack is dubbed the first ever Superspeedway. There was no Superspeedway before this racetrack, as we have a battle breaking out for the second position. The number 4 of Jason Gracias underneath fire from the number 8. But going back to what I said, this was the first ever Superspeedway. It preceded Daytona, it preceded Talladega, as, whoa, man, the 5 machine of Thornton in the outside wall. He's going to get off the outside wall, so that's a good news for him. It's a bit of a gap back to the number 20 machine right there, as probably can remove Jason Gracias' name, as Steven Doziak a little bit further back. He's into the outside wall in that number 55 machine. Looks like he's going to lose a couple positions. There's Chicky going by. Mike Tellier in the number 97 as well. Tellier trying to work his way forward. Now the question becomes, who has come down pit road recently? As Doziak again having a little bit of a moment coming out of the corner. Looks like Jason Gracias and Philip Scott still kind of doing battle with one another. Meanwhile, Garrett Powell's been able to stretch out to a 1-second lead here in the early going. Bit surprised there. Maybe Powell might be using up his stuff just a little bit, but we're going to go here into a little bit of a 3-wide TV look in here. Got to give a big wave to you guys watching at home and see a little bit about what we do and how we get through this field and how we bring you this live action. As Fernando Matos in the 71 machine, he's in the outside wall. That's going to give up a couple of positions. We saw Chicky, contact there, and that's the 41 machine and Austin Grover involved. And we are going to see another caution here. Boy, oh boy, that was not what you want to see here on in this one, because I'll tell you what, this was a tough scene. The 71 machine in the outside wall. He comes down off the outside wall. We see this one on slow motion. Let's see if we can go to the blimp cam right into the path of the number 41 machine of Tony Lecorelli, who gets into the outside wall, then right down into Austin Grover. And the 83 and the 41 both have used their fast repairs here tonight. That could be game over for both of them. So that was definitely a tough break for a couple of the drivers out there on the racetrack. Let's see if we can go back live here. And I think we have actually had possibly our first retirement here tonight. Tony Lecorelli is off the racetrack. Dave Harvey in the number 77 machine, he's also off the racetrack. Didn't quite capture that. He was involved in an earlier accident in that 77 machine. Tough break for him here tonight. Matt Monticelli, Nate Catilla did not start in the number 6 machine, but Monticelli, he's also off the racetrack. Chris Darling. So we actually have a couple of retirements, not paying too close attention to what's going in. But while we're under caution, let's see if we can drag in one of these other drivers up near the front of the field. Let's see if we can bring in the number 20 of Jason Freeman. Jason Freeman, Peter Short, 3-wide TV booth. You got a Now let's try that one more time. Jason Freeman, Peter Short, 3-wide TV booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you there.
Well, I'll tell you what, it's been an interesting first half of the race. There's been quite a few cautions here tonight, but you've been able to get that machine now up into the top 5, running in the 4th position. And you got 3 cars in front of you. How are you going to get by them?
I think we're on the same set of tires here right now, so I'm just going to ride for a little bit. I think there'll probably be another caution here.
Yeah, we've definitely seen quite a few cautions here in the first portion of the race. And the big question now for a lot of these drivers is, have you used your fast repair or not? It seems like a good portion of the field have had to come down and use a fast repair. What about you?
No, I still got a fast repair left and another set of tires in the pits there, but I definitely have some motor damage. It does not top out the speed. I got involved in that early wreck there early on and just chose to get my over 1 minute of optional damage fixed first and try to hang on to them.
Well, the good news is you still do have that fast repair in hand, and you know it's one of those things. Sounds like you elected to keep it in your back pocket. We've seen some drivers not keep it in their back pocket, and they've used it too soon here tonight. How late in the race is it going to be until you decide to use that fast repair if you have a little bit of damage on that race car? Is it going to be that final pit stop, or are you going to come down pit road and not use that fast repair?
No, I'm definitely going to use on the final pit stop, and that's going to be on the next. If we get another caution, it'll be that caution. Because I mean, we're on green right here with 22 to go. It looks like. So I don't think there's not going to be much time left after that. So. Gonna have to try. If you do pit, you're gonna have to try to get to the front pretty quick. I think it was like Garrett that might have pitted there. I mean, if we all pit and he gets out front and we don't have a long run at the end, he might have made the winning move there. But we'll see what happens.
All right, well, very interesting to hear, Jason. Best of luck here when we go back to green here shortly.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, well, folks, that is your fourth place machine, the number 20 machine of Jason Freeman. As you can see, oh, there we go. You got the ticker coming back up for you as the pace car lights have turned off. And, you know, we heard there that the number 87 machine came down pit road, Garrett Powell. He did indeed. So let's bring up the pit graphic for you guys up at the top of the screen so you can see, you know, who's come down pit road and when. You got Gracias up near the front. He has 34 laps on his tires. Derek Cook running in 5th. He's only got 11 laps on his tires. But then Mike Tellier, Garrett Powell, Fernando Matos, they all just came down pit road in those race machines. And with the tire fall off that we've seen here tonight, about a second and a half over 10 laps, I'm going to be a little surprised if drivers like Garrett Powell will be racing their way to the front very, very quickly. So just keep an eye up there at the top of the screen, laps since pit. That will probably tell a story here as the pace car is about to head down pit road. You can see live timing and scoring on the left-hand side of your screen. You can also see a little bit of the 3-wide TV look in here as we're about to go back to green flag racing, and the green flag is waving. The number 4 machine, Jason Gracias, already out to a fantastic restart here. He's going to get himself to turn number 1 first, but look at the battle now brewing behind him. That's Jason Freeman. We just talked to him. He just got around the number 5 of Billy Thornton to get up into the 3rd position. And I'll tell you what, Ron Chicky now in the number 51 machine, he's going to be all over the back bumper, of the number 5 machine as they go off into the corner. And then you got a couple of cars on fresh tires. Drivers like Mike Tellier right here, the number 97 machine who gets loose coming out of the corner right up in for 2, right in front of Fernando Matos. Caution flag is back in the air here at Darlington. We're going to have to go back and see that one again here coming out of turn number 2. Let's see if we can see this one from high atop in the blimp cam. And, oh, man, Matos tried to avoid the spinning number 97 just a little bit too little too late. And that will bring out another caution flag here. Let's get another look at this one. Man, look at the number 87 machine. He was absolutely digging into that machine. Let's see if we can see this one right here. There's the number 97 machine. Tried to save it. You can see those front tires just bit. Went right back up the racetrack into the number 71's path, which is an absolute heartbreak for Matos. I believe he's already used his fast repair here tonight. And there's a yellow flag thrown. A little bit of a delay from the flag man right there, but that puts us back under the caution flag. Now the big question is going to be which one of these drivers is going to come down pit road. Jason Gracias staying out. No, here he comes down pit road. Late lunge down to pit road. The number 8 of Philip Scott following him down. Jason Freeman as well. Billy Thornton coming down. Chicky in the number 51 machine coming down. So a lot of these cars electing to come down pit road. Garrett Powell and a couple other drivers. Vincent Valvano, Kyle Geveshausen in the number 44, Austin Grover in the number 83. They elect to stay out there on the racetrack. But this is going to give a little bit of an advantage to these drivers that we can see on your screen right now, because they are going to have just the slightest advantage here on tires. And we've mentioned that the tire fall off is pretty massive here. It's just going to be interesting to see. The number 97 of Mike Tellier back there. Looks like he's going to use a fast repair. So he still had a fast repair. He's going to actually win the race off pit road because he used that fast repair. He pitted under the last caution. So his tires are not necessarily that old. So it's going to kind of work out interesting for Mike Tellier. He was the reason for the caution. He spun in front of the number 71 of Fernando Matos, who sits on pit road right there. Looks like Derek Cook in the number 21 also getting some damage repaired. But I'm sure these drivers will be able to get themselves back up out there on the racetrack soon. Here's Garrett Gleason. He currently sits 1 lap down in the number 7 Menards throwback here tonight. And in fact, let's see if we can dial up that number 7 machine. Garrett Gleason, you're on pit road right now. You're coming down at pit road speed. Do not miss your pit box. That's a fair warning. You're 1 lap down, but a lot of cautions here tonight. How are you going to get back on the lead lap and show up a bunch of people?
Well, Peter, I don't know who's in charge of running this league. Oh, wait, it's me. But I thought I was getting a lucky dog there, and I'm a little disappointed. I've been saving my tire set, planning to make a run here towards the end, and the caution wasn't on my side that time.
Well, that's definitely a tough break. That's not what you want to have happen to you. But you're now rolling out of your pit box. How's that number 7 machine driven here today? Of course, you're one of those drivers who did a lot of racing, in the old TNR days, back in the NR 2003. But, of course, we're over in iRacing now. And Darlington's not an easy racetrack. So how do you adapt to these tricky racetracks on iRacing?
Well, you know me. I like to take it easy, especially early on in the run here, get the car under me, and then see what it could do. Like, let these guys come back to me, because some of these guys, they just want to race as fast as they can from the drop of the green, and they'll use up their stuff. And I figure, at least with the experience I've had back from way back when, I'd be able to catch up on the long run.
Well, you're definitely out there, and so far that number 7 Menards machine looking pretty good. It seemed like there was a little bit of damage. Have you been able to use a fast repair, or are you saving that fast repair for potentially later?
No, I had to use my fast repair, unfortunately, because I was trying to clear a black flag and ran into the 17, I believe it was. But before I go, Peter, I'd like to congratulate TNR alumni Hank Lee and his wife Tiara on the birth of their son today. I would be remiss if I didn't do that, so appreciate you let me do that.
Yeah, absolutely. Hank the Tank, as I used to call him, having a baby. So congratulations, Hank. Hopefully we can see you here in iRacing soon. But Garrett, the pace car lights are off, and you got the 1 to go signal, so we'll let you get back to it. Best of luck here in the closing laps.
Thanks.
All right, well, that is Garrett Gleason, G-Money, as I like to call him. We're right on board with him right here, currently down in the 12th position. But speaking of Garretts, here's another Garrett right up at the front of the field, and so far led the most laps here tonight in that number 87 machine. So we'll have to see if he can seal the deal here. Mike Tellier in the number 97 machine to his outside. Pace car down pit road. Green flag in the flagman's hand. And we are back to green flag racing here at Darlington. Kyle Geveshausen smacking off the outside wall there a little bit further back in the pack. He's still smacking off the outside wall in that number 44 machine. And could we see another caution here? Well, he's going to be able to get that thing woed up in that South Park number 44 machine, still having issues. Hopefully he can get that sorted, possibly a little bit of wheel trouble or something or like that. Definitely hasn't been the night that Geveshausen's been looking for, but he's currently down in 14th, 11 laps down, trying to get himself up towards the front. Steven Doziak at the number 55 machine looks like he has taken his car to the garage. That gives us 14 machines still out there turning laps. Update on Fernando Matos in the 71 machine as, the number 8 hard in the outside wall. That's Philip Scott. Got a little bit of what I call wall glue in that number 8 machine. We'll see if we can see it right here happen. Diving off into turn number 1. Just got a little bit too high right there in between turn number 1 and 2 and just rode that outside wall. You can see it just losing a ton of positions. Unfortunate for him, he's going to have to find himself now quite a ways back in the field. As back up at the front, here goes a battle for second position. Jason Freeman in that number 20 machine. He's just going to drop underneath the number 97 of Mike Tellier. So move Freeman now up into second. And Freeman in the number 20 machine, folks, he was bad fast last season in the first season of these ARCA cars here in Total Nonstop Racing League. Definitely one of the drivers who was in contention to go to victory lane every time he got out there on the racetrack, and here again showing some muscle around this racetrack. Garrett Powell in the number 87 machine. He's been the car to beat all night long in that number 87. Mike Tellier dropping back to third. Jason Gracias, your pole sitter, under fire from Ron Chicky. Chicky was one of those drivers who did not set a qualifying time, I believe, prior to the start of the race. He started all the way down in 17th, now running all the way up in the top 5. So great run for, Mike Tellier in the number 97 machine, hard in the inside wall. This will not bring out a caution as long as he stays down there, and lost a hood on that race car, and this has gone from great to really bad here for this number 97 machine. What happened here? Looks like he just clipped the outside wall. We've seen that happen to a couple of cars here tonight, and heavy impact into the safer barrier on the inside of the racetrack. that will pretty much spell the end of the race for Mike Tellier, as he's going to limp that machine back to pit road. What a shame. He was running up there inside the top 5. Ron Chicky, however, just got around Jason Gracias, who just put his big red Dodge Charger into the outside wall. So as the laps click away here, things really amping up. Let's see what happened here to Gracias. Just got a little bit high through the center turn number 3 and 4. We've seen that happen to a couple of drivers here tonight, and got a little bit of that wall glue, as I like to call it. Now he's going to find himself back in the 4th position, so a little bit of 4-4-4 action there for Jason Gracias. A little bit of a reference there to Wendy's, but back up at the front, Jason Freeman just possibly closing in on your race leader just a little bit. Right there at the bottom of your screen, you can see the gap to Garrett Powell closing in there, coming out of turn number 2. Got a great run. The 87 of Powell going to defend. The high lines preferred in 3 and 4. Freeman just going to send it. Doesn't want to get to the outside wall. Contact! And your race leader around in the outside wall. Freeman getting involved with Garrett Powell. Caution flag in the air. We were riding on board with the number 20 machine when that all went down. And we're going to see if we can get a little bit of a look and see what happened here. Again, go to the slow-mo. The 87 coming up the racetrack, not leaving the 20 machine any room. It looked like Freeman was in the wall even when the 87 made contact. And just like that, the car that has dominated all night long, the 87 machine, is going to be well back in the field. This is going to be an absolute stellar finish. Let's see if we can see this one here from the center of the turn number 3 and 4 camera. Of when these leaders come on through. Yeah, maybe we went a little bit too far back here. There we go. There you see the contact. And a little bit of up close and personal action here with the turn number 4 camera. Boom, just like that. Ron Chicky in the number 51 machine. It's going to work out pretty well for him because he's going to have a clean race car. Now, the interesting thing is here, folks, is when the caution came out, the number 20 of Jason Freeman was the race leader. Even though he was involved in that contact, he was the race leader. So he hasn't used his fast repair tonight. We just talked to him a little while ago. Hasn't used a fast repair. Doesn't look like he's come back down pit road. No, he has not. So he's just going to stay out there on the racetrack with the damage he just accrued. Meanwhile, the number 87 machine of Garrett Powell, he has had to come down and use his fast repair. He's already used his final set of Goodyear Eagles, so no fresh tires on that machine. But now the car that's been the fastest all night long going to have to restart tail end of the longest line. Meanwhile, the number 97 of Mike Tellier has taken his car to the garage. Tough break for him. Let's see if we can dial up the number 97 machine of Mike Tellier. Mike Tellier, Peter Short in the 3Y TV booth. You got a copy?
I do.
Well, man, you'd raced your way up into the top 5. That turn number 2 wall came out and bit you, but nonetheless, a good ride for that number 3 Dale Earnhardt-inspired scheme here tonight. Tell us a little bit about how this racetrack's driving for these drivers.
It's actually really different. One set of corners, it's tight, and then all of a sudden, you'll feel snappy loose. But it's fun to drive, I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, definitely a tricky racetrack to drive. I've been highlighting that all night long, just how difficult it is to get around this racetrack. You're flirting with the outside wall, and then you're flirting with the apron coming out of turn number 2. As a race car driver, how do you approach this racetrack? Are you one of those drivers who'd like to save tires, or are you one of those drivers who just want to go out there and try and get the track position any way you can get it?
Well, I was trying to save tires, but obviously it doesn't work. I was doing something wrong, so I need to learn the proper way to get around this track.
Well, nonetheless, Mike, you had a great run going. You showed some speed. You qualified down in the 5th position. You got your way back up into the top 5. What happened at the start of the race? It seemed like you qualified up there in the top 5, and then all of a sudden, almost immediately, you dropped all the way back to the back of the pack.
I was in the wrong gear coming to the green flag, so I just moved out of the way so everyone could go by instead of causing a big kerfuffle.
Well, I got to say, probably a heads-up move and the right move to make. But Mike, we'll see you next week here on 3Y TV for some more total nonstop racing action. And until then, best of luck, bud.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
All right, folks, that was Mike Tellier. Unfortunately, he will not see the checkered flag here tonight. That number 97 machine will go no further. Meanwhile, we will have a battle, a fantastic battle now. The driver that we have seen all night long be so fast, the number 87 machine, going to be mired back in the pack. Right on the left-hand side of your screen, you can see Garrett Powell. He's going to be restarting on the inside of row number 4. Watch him, because I bet he's going to race like a bat out of hell in that machine here for the final 5 laps, because it's going to be a little bit of a 5-lap shootout, folks. Make sure you get on the edge of your seats for this one. Give us a shout in the chat. I haven't seen anyone in the chat here all night long. Curious to know who you're rooting for. Who do you think is going to come home with the checkered flag when this is all said and done? There'll be 5 laps to go when the green flag drops here shortly. The race led by the number 20 machine of Jason Freeman. Green flag is in the air. He's got himself a good jump as they race off into turn number 1. Chicky in second in that number 51 machine, just a little bit further back. Both of these cars, 15 laps on their tires. Chicky, good run through turn number 1 and 2. He's going to drop back down to the bottom. Is he going to try and get underneath the number 20 machine? He's got to run. Here we are, side by side down the back stretch, driving off into turn number 3 and 4. Looks like Chicky's going to have to get back in line behind the number 20 machine, flirting with that outside wall, now trying to get a run coming off the corner. Now look at your pole sitter, Jason Gracias. He's now back up into the 3rd position. What can he do with the front 2? Chicky all over the back bumper. Is Chicky in the outside wall? Yes, he is. Chicky in the 51 Exxon machine in the outside wall. He's going to slide back through the field, still losing positions. And the 17 in the outside wall. The number 17, heavy contact. We stay green. Cars scattling everywhere. Fernando Matos down below the apron. And now the 17 and the 83 get together. Look at this slide. The 83 of Grover. What a save. The backup at the front. Looks like we're going to stay green flag. Jason Gracias in the number 4 machine. What can he do with Jason Freeman? A couple of Jasons doing battle here at Darlington, the track that's too tough to tame. But Garrett Powell, he's trying to get his way back up into the top 3. He's running back there in 5th position right now. He's dominated this race all night long. But up in the front, here comes Jason Gracias with a move to the inside of Jason Freeman. It's going to be 2 laps to go. This time by as the flagman shows 2 flags in the air. 2 more laps around this 1.3-mile racetrack, but Freeman still holding on to that race lead a little bit further back in the pack. Derek Cook in that number 21 machine, he's trying to get himself up into the 6th position. Chicky now trying to get himself, but back up at the front, you're not missing anything, because the number 20 of Jason Freeman still holding on to a little bit of advantage. You see the slow car on the inside. That was Tristan Mayer in the number 17. He will fall down a lap. White flag in the air, and here comes the number 4 of Jason Gracias to the inside of Jason Freeman. Nothing to separate these 2 drivers as they work their way through turn number 1 and 2, and the 4th in the outside wall. That's probably going to do it for this man right here, the number 20 of Jason Freeman. No one out back anymore. The number 20 going to look his way out of turn number 4. And it will be checkered flag in the air for the number 20 of Jason Freeman. Goes to victory lane at Darlington. What a fantastic finish here tonight at Darlington Raceway. Jason Freeman taking the win. Jason Gracias, you can see he's visibly upset. Going to spin that number 4 machine down on the inside of the racetrack. Billy Thornton in the number 5 machine. He's going to come home 3rd. Last week's race winner at Eldora. Great run for him here tonight in that Thornton Graphix Chevrolet. Philip Scott coming home in 4th in the DEI Dale Earnhardt Jr. inspired machine. And rounding out your top 5, the man who dominated all night long, Garrett Powell. Tough break for him late in the race, but for Jason Freeman here, he's going to do burnouts on the front stretch. Looks like Ron Chicky's going to join him here at the Darlington Raceway. What a win. The track that's too tough to tame, tamed by the number 20 machine here tonight. Well, folks, we're going to step away here for just a brief moment. We're going to let the number 20 machine celebrate his win around this racetrack. Looks like a little bit of a Polish victory lap for that race car. You see the front stretch. There's the number 17. Looks like he's going to try and come by and finish. But like I said, we're going to step away for just a brief moment. We're going to line up some interviews for you here on 3Y TV, so don't go anywhere. All right, folks, welcome back to 3Y TV, and I've caught up with tonight's fourth place finisher, the number 8 machine of Philip Scott. Philip, kind of a long night for you in that number 8 machine. Definitely had a lot of pace early on, and you were able to back up that pace towards the latter half of the race, and you were able to get back up into the top 5. A lot of Darlington stripes on that number 8 machine. Tell us about your night.
Yeah, first off, I'd like to thank Thornton Graphix and Dunn Raceway Park for sponsoring our series, and of course, my sponsor, National Ninja League. If you want to see the best Ninja Warrior League in the world, check out nationalninja.com. And so it was quite a topsy-turvy night. So I started off and I ended up getting into the lead and smacked the wall, and that wall's like glue. It's so hard to avoid the wall because the track, it's Darlington. It's so hard not to get it, not hit the wall. And then I ended up losing a few spots, and then I accidentally hit Billy. Sorry, Billy, but he finished ahead of me anyway. And then, then near the end, I got kind of stuck back in traffic. I smacked the wall again, and then had to drive like a madman back up to 6th, and then 5th, and then a caution came out, and then that was the final restart. And then Garrett Powell got the jump on me on the final restart, and then I had to find a way back around him. It was super tough the whole time. And then I tried getting up into the top 3 at the very end. Just drove as hard as I could on old tires, and yeah, I'm happy with a second top 5 in a row. So yeah.
Yeah, definitely a strong run for you in that number 8 machine here tonight. Of course, we go from Darlington, which is a very tough track, to Dover next week. And Dover's one of those other racetracks that are very, very difficult, both on tires and also on the driver. What are your thoughts about going to Dover?
Yeah, Dover's actually one of my favorite tracks to drive. It's absolutely one of my favorites. It's like Bristol, but like wider and way faster. Obviously doesn't have the progressive banking, but it's a lot of fun to go to Bristol. So I'm really excited because Bristol and Darlington are kind of similar in that they're both high banked, and you kind of have to like dive it into the corners and save your tires and all that. So it should be a lot of fun. So I'm looking forward to it next week.
Absolutely. But before we let you go, you got any shout outs for us here on 3Y TV?
Yeah, I'd like to shout out. So obviously, as I said, National Ninja League. And then, of course, our sister companies. That's the company I work for. I'm the creative director. And then our sister companies, Ninja Works, Deary's Gymnastics Supply, and Monster of Ninja Hold. So if you're interested in Ninja Warrior, check them out.
All right. Well, very, very cool, Philip. Congratulations on your fourth place finish here tonight. And hopefully we get to see you again next week.
Yeah, thanks, man.
All right. Well, that was your fourth place finisher here tonight. But I believe that we've also caught up with your second place finisher here tonight, Jason Gracias, who, once again, second week in a row, I think, Jason, that you've been up here in the 3-wide TV booth here in the Total Nonstop Racing League. It's been a long night for you, and you tried to make a charge there for the race lead. Just came up a little bit short in that Wrigley's Big Red Machine. Tell us about your night overall.
Overall, it was a good night. The long runs were really playing into my favor. I just wish that I wish I could do that last 2 laps over again. I made a mistake. I tried a Martin Truex Jr. the last turn and realized it wasn't going to work, and I just messed up the exit of 2, hit the wall, and I think I just gave one away. So I wish I could go back and have that back.
Nonetheless, I mean, your start to the season here in this, really your return to Total Nonstop Racing. I mean, very, very strong in the first 2 races. What are your thoughts about going to Dover next week?
Well, Dover's my home track, so anything but a win there will be extremely disappointing. So I'm probably gonna put a lot of laps offline, dial in my racecraft there. So it should be interesting. Dover's just like a Darlington. I think it might be a little bit worse for tire wear. So hopefully we have a nice setup that's tight versus loose. So we'll see. Hopefully, hoping for good things.
Well, I'll tell you what, you were very, very quick here tonight. You led 14 laps here around Darlington. And of course, a strong showing last week at Eldora definitely puts you in a good position in points here early in the season. But Jason, before we let you go, you got any shout outs for us?
Yeah, shout out to Cosmos. Cosman, he made my paint schemes. So next week you'll see a return to my my actually nostalgic paint schemes from the TNR days. You'll see the discount tire machine, our sponsor on the car. But other than that, thanks to Garrett for putting the league together, 3Y TV, and you for broadcasting these races, and Thornton Graphix for coming on board this season for our league sponsor.
You know what? Cosman is the one person who you hear of in every single league. No joke. Pretty much every single league that we've broadcasted here on 3Y TV, someone's given Cosman a shout out, and no one knows how to pronounce his last name. I don't even want to try. I would be really curious to know how to pronounce his last name, but definitely a good painter here in the iRacing community. But best of luck next week at Dover there, Jason.
Yeah, thanks. I hope you guys enjoyed the race. If you're watching at home and curious about joining, please come. Please join us. It's a lot of fun. Great group of guys. All experience levels are welcome. Beginner, expert, professional, world rally driver. Doesn't matter. Just come join. Have a ball.
Absolutely. Well, thanks for stopping by, Jason, and we'll see you next week. All right, well, folks, that is your second place interview done. Let's see if we can dial up tonight's race winner, the number 20 machine, that man right there of Jason Freeman. We talked to him not all too long ago. Jason Freeman, Peter Shorten, 3Y TV booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you there.
Well, I'll tell you what, man. You were able to come home with the win. A little bit of contact there late with the number 87 machine. It looked like you did all you could. You jumped to the high side, you got into the outside wall, and just a little bit of a coming together. But somehow, you and that number 20 machine, you were able to scoot through without all too much damage. I was shocked that that number 20 machine wasn't all tore up.
Yeah, no, I mean, I ran Garrett down there, and I knew that the laps were winding down. And I think Ron was catching us both. So if the opportunity presented itself, I needed to take advantage of it there. And he left it outside open going into 3, and I got my nose there. And he actually came across the mic and apologized and said he just got tight. He got tight and came up into us. So it is what it is. It's a tight race and final 10 laps going for the win.
Well, nonetheless, a fantastic run for you here tonight, Jason. Next week we have Dover, another very difficult racetrack. Tell us a little bit about your thoughts on Dover. I mean, personally, Dover is one of my favorite racetrack. What about yours?
You know, I've been on the sim for a good many years now, and for some reason, I've never ran too much at Dover, and I've never ran well at Dover, and that's probably why I haven't turned too many laps there. But I mean, I don't know. I mean, these updates keep changing all the time, the new tire model and all that. I know this is probably the loosest car I've ever driven in Darlington in my 7 years of being on here. So I don't know what that deal was with tonight, but it worked out. So who knows? Going to Darlington or Dover might be different there too.
Yeah, we heard from Mike Tellier after he had his accident that it was really funny here tonight. The car was really tight. I'm guessing in turn number 3 and 4, and then really loose coming out of turn number 2 and turn number 4. As a race car driver, how do you manage that, especially with the tire wear that you get here at Darlington?
I mean, I was getting pretty loose coming off too, but I was just trying to take it easy and save the tires down there and not slide them too much getting off. I didn't feel like 3 and 4 in that first run. I got in the fence and I realized it was a little bit tighter, but I still believe turn 4 was a little loose off as well. So I started backing that turn up a lot and trying to arc it to the outside and get a long straight run down the straightaway.
Well, I'll tell you what, whatever you did, it worked here tonight. Able to go to victory lane in the second round of the season. And I know they'll probably be trying to look and back that up next week at Dover. But before I let you go, Jason, you got any shout outs for us here on 3Y TV?
I'd just like to thank Garrett for putting on the league and you guys for broadcasting and sponsoring my car, Mason Dixon Cornhole League. It's actually where I met Tony Lecorelli, so kind of have that little battle going on here. He has the NEPA Cornhole scheme car that he runs that organization up in Northeast Pennsylvania, and then me along with some people who run the Mason Dixon Cornhole League we started a couple years ago down here at the Pennsylvania-Maryland line.
Well, I'll tell you what, that's going to be an interesting battle, an inter-league rivalry between you two all season long. But Jason, best of luck next week at Dover, and until we see you there, best of luck as well.
Yep, thanks. Sounds good.
All right, well, folks, that was tonight's winner, Jason Freeman, picking up the win here tonight. And let's see if we can bring up your race results here tonight from the Darlington Raceway. Jason Freeman taking home the win. Jason Gracias coming home in second in the number 4 machine. Billy Thornton coming home in third, your Eldora winner 1 week ago. Philip Scott coming home in fourth. Garrett Powell, who led 48 laps here tonight, coming home in fifth after late race collision with the number 20 of Freeman. Ron Chicky coming home in sixth. He was the biggest mover tonight, plus 11 positions from where he started in the field. Seventh position goes to Derek Cook in the number 21 machine. Kind of a quiet night for that number 21, but he is able to keep it out of the outside retaining wall and comes home with a very respectable finish. Fernando Matos in the number 71 machine. He also had a very respectable finish down there in eighth. He was able to see it to the checkered flag. He had quite a bit of damage at certain points of the race. Same thing with Austin Grover in the number 83 machine. I can't tell you how many times I thought it was day done for that number 83, but Grover fought all race long. League owner and organizer Garrett Gleason rounding out your top 10. Tristan Mayer in the number 17 machine, definitely not the night he was hoping for. A lot of contact with the outside wall and other vehicles out there. None really of his own doing, but that number 17 Pennzoil machine finishing 1 lap down in 11th. Vincent Valvano in the number 38 machine finishing down in 12th. Kyle Giveshausen in the 44 machine finishing 13th. Mike Tellier 14th. Stephen Doziak 15th. Tony Lecorelli 16th. Dave Harvey in 17th. Christopher Darling down in 18th. Matt Monticelli and Nate Cantilla. Cantilla did not start the race here tonight, but we had 19 cars out there on the grid, and I think if I remember correctly, this is actually the biggest field of cars Total Nonstop Racing has had since they came back alive on the iRacing server. So definitely awesome to see the growth in the Total Nonstop Racing League. Huge shout outs to the Total Nonstop Racing League sponsors. The DRP off-road racing track up in Old Forge, Pennsylvania. Make sure you go check them out if you're into RC racing. They're an indoor racetrack, as well as Thornton Graphix. There's a link in the description, so you can click on it and go check out Thornton Graphix for any of your graphics needs. Here tonight, before we go, we want to give a shout out to our friends over at SimTV for the camera angles that we give you here on 3Y TV. But for myself, Peter Short, and everyone else as part of the 3 Wide Racing team. We want to give each and every one of you a good night, and we'll see you in 1 week's time at Dover for more Total Nonstop Racing League action. See ya!